Hey y'all, how's it going? It's DIY Alex and I am back with another Tutorial Tuesday. And I'm so excited to show you guys today's project because today we are going to be sublimating fall pillow covers, or in general sublimating on pillow covers. These just happen to be fall throw pillows for my fall decor this year. So I'll give everybody a second to come on in and join us. I'm gonna go ahead and check the chat and then we will get this party started. I'm super excited for these designs. You guys, I have such cool things started for us. I am excited. Hello, hello. Oh, look at this chat. Y'all have been busy. Hey, Roseanne, how's it going? Oh, good. I'm so glad you liked the Cricut Craft Fest. Yeah, so I feel like I've been shouting it from the rooftops, but Cricut Craft Fest is going on this week. You can still get a free ticket, but my workshop was yesterday. So if you wanted to watch my workshop with the free ticket, you would have had to do that yesterday. But the good news is that there are still tickets available. You can get a VIP access pass so you can go back and watch my tutorial and all the other tutorials as well. So lots of fun stuff going on there. Let me know if you guys want to hear more about that because I can give you all the details. I am always the same way, Renee. Honestly, every time they do one of these summits, I always end up having to buy an access pass because I will never end up actually watching them all that day. Hey, Candace, how's it going? I'm glad you made it too, Renee. Who else is here? Hey, Dee, welcome. Good, good. I'm so glad everyone is here to join us. Hello, hello. Hi, Nancy. Hi, Kristen. Hi, Claudia. Welcome. I'm okay. So funny story, you guys, which we'll have to get into this a little bit later. But I was just literally talking to you guys on my stories about printing. So I printed all of this off of my Epson ST4000 for today's project. But I thought, you know, I need to make sure I print off of my other sublimation printer as well, just to make sure that they're both being used. Because if you guys saw my short form video a couple weeks ago, I shared about how I fixed a clog in my Epson ST4000. And literally the print that was going as I was talking to you, I walked over to it and I was like, weird, those colors are really funky. So I'm getting ready to start the process of trying to unclog my other printer, and I'm going to take you guys along for the ride. So I'm going to start recording the process to make sure that I can show you guys what to do in case this happens to you, since it's now have happened to both of my sublimation printers. So seems like that's just going to be something that is going to be relevant for all of us. So I figured I might as well take you guys on the journey of fixing it and showing you what I did last time. Oh, good for you, Kristen. I'm so glad you were able to get through all the Craft Fest videos. Good, good. That's great. Awesome. Okay, so I want to go ahead and jump right in because we have a few things to go over. This tutorial, like the actual process of sublimating these, I don't think is going to take all that long, but I want to get started because I recorded a tutorial of putting some of these pieces together in Canva for you guys in case you want to see an example for how all of this works, and getting some of these clip art bundles like the way that I did. Some of them were already pre-arranged. So all the ones I printed were already pre-arranged in this file bundle, but it also comes with a bunch of like extras and separate pieces so that if you want to arrange them yourself in different patterns, you can end up making a lot of different configurations. So I gave you guys a couple examples over in Canva and I recorded the process for you to show you some of the different options just to make sure you guys know you always have options. Since we are all on the newer side to sublimation, or at least I am, I want to make sure you guys know all the different ways that you can utilize your files, especially if you're going to be paying for them. I want to make sure you get the most from them. So yeah, you know, Ruth, I tried once a week and it seems like once a week may not be often enough to print on my printers. So we'll see. We will see. We will see. So I think what I'm going to try to do is try to print multiple times a week. But also these printers are, a couple years old at this point, at least a year and a half, maybe 2 years old. So I guess that also does make a difference as well. And I think some printers are just more prone to it than others are. And that's just going to be how that is, which is okay. But we need to know what to do if and when that happens. So last time I kept the pieces of paper and I told you guys the story in like a reel, but this time I'm going to make like a YouTube video and show you how to go along for the ride if you need to do that. And I'm going to post it on YouTube this time. So I'm going to go ahead and play that clip from the Canva presentation, or my screen recording anyway, and I'm going to be muting myself. So in case you guys have never been around for a live video where I play like an overlay video, I'm going to go ahead and mute my microphone and start the other one. And then you guys can ask me questions through the chat, but I will no longer be able to like respond to you with audio because I'm going to have my microphone muted. So keep that in mind. This video is about 10 minutes or so. So we'll go ahead and roll that. And we'll be back in about 10 minutes to get started with this process. Let's see if I remember how to do this. It's been a little while since I played it. Okay, yeah, here we go.
So I wanted to add a little Canva portion onto this tutorial to show you guys how to work with some of these images and kind of create your own designs out of them if you have an image bundle like I do. So to get started, we are on canva.com. And again, I am using the Pro subscription because I am a Canva Pro user, but you don't have to have a Canva Pro subscription in order to use Canva. You can use it completely for free. So to get started, we're going to click the big purple button in the upper right-hand corner. And then for the size of our canvas, we're going to choose a letter size, just like a piece of paper. Then you'll want to go into your uploads so that you can upload the images if they're not already from Canva. So I got mine from Etsy, so I'm going to click on the purple Upload Files button and go into the folder with my files and pick a few to add into Canva. So as you can see, I have all these different options, and I may end up just using the ones that are already arranged because I think that those are pretty cute, but I wanted you guys to see that you do have options when it comes to things like this in the event that you decide that you want to do something different. So let's see if we can add in multiple things at once, because if we can, that will be amazing. Awesome. It gives us all kinds of options. So I was just holding down Shift on my keyboard to click on multiple, and then we'll choose Open. And then Canva will upload all of these designs for us. But it might take a moment because these are kind of large files. Almost done. You can kind of watch the progress here on the left-hand side. And then once the bubble goes away, now we know we are ready. So then you can just start inserting some of these images onto your canvas. And then you can just start kind of playing around with them and arranging them. So I do want to make these as large as I can because I have a pretty large pillow. My pillow covers are like 17.75 inches or so in each direction. So I want to get my images as big as I possibly can. So say for example, maybe we want to do a stack of 3 pumpkins because the stacks that are in the bundle only have 2. So we can kind of play around with the sizing. And working with Canva, once you get used to it, is kind of like Cricut Design Space. You do have to figure out how to move things around. So instead of arranging your layers like you would in Design Space, you can go into Position and then you can move these items around. Oh, that's going to position here on our canvas. So let's see if we right click. There we go. We can bring forward or bring to front. So I brought this pumpkin all the way to the front because I want to make it the very top. And I don't want to make it look too much like a snowman. So I might expand this out a little bit. And actually, I'm going to expand this a little bit too. And I make it look something like this. So that kind of looks like a stack of 3 pumpkins. That one looks like it might be a little big. So you can just kind of play around with it. I wanted to show you this as an option because I know that some of you love to make your own designs, but some of you may be a little intimidated by making your own designs. So I wanted to show you how you can grab a clip art bundle and really do a lot of things yourself with what these look like, which I think is so fun because then you can take images that other people have already created if you don't want to create them yourself and turn them into however you want them to look. And like in this case, I didn't really want my pillows to have like text on them. I wanted them to be like images. So that's why I just typed in floral pumpkin bundle on Etsy, and that's where I found these. I also have it linked for you in the description below if you like it. So you can kind of see that my florals are getting a little kind of almost drowned out by all the color in these pumpkins. So I'm going to try going to edit image, and then I'm going to add a small shadow, just a little tiny glow. And in order to adjust it, I'm going to click on these little controls in the middle, and I'm going to try and turn this glow to white. Ooh, you can't really see that when I do it like that. So maybe let's try like a light gray or something like that. That actually doesn't look too bad. So then when I like it, I'll go down here and click apply. And that gives our florals a little bit of an opportunity to pop off of the pumpkins. So let's say that I want to right click and then choose copy. And then I'll right click again and choose paste and get another one of those florals. And I'm going to try flipping this in the opposite direction up at the top of the screen. Flipping it horizontal, and then maybe we can arrange it up here at the top. So we can kind of move around the florals like this. So I'm not loving that little stem that's like really far out there because I think that makes it look a little funny. So let's click on the image, and I'm going to drag the handle in basically until that part of my image is gone. There we go. It's a little bit harder to do in this one. So I'm going to delete this one because I can still see the stem out here a lot. So I'm going to delete it and come back here and copy and paste this one as we have it now. And then flip it one more time horizontally. And then I can re-rotate it. And that way it looks a little bit more like the florals I am looking for. Then if you want to make them the same size as the page, we can click and draw a box around everything just like we would in Cricut Design Space. And then this kind of groups them together. You technically can group them, but since they're all selected anyway, they should be able to resize together without actually needing to be grouped. And we'll take it up as big as it'll allow us to. That looks like it's kind of the max. Yeah, so I wanted to show you that example so that you guys know you have lots of power to do lots of cool stuff to your designs. You don't actually just have to leave it up to the designers because you can do whatever you'd like. You can even add in, I probably won't because I want all my images to be all together, but you can even add some corner pieces in. Ooh, actually, that looks kind of cool. Let's delete this one, and I'm going to click on the plus button and add another page. And then let's see if we can add in, I might not like it, but let's go ahead and add in a pumpkin. And then we'll see what it looks like to add that kind of corner floral piece. And just play with it. So if you're not quite comfortable creating all your own designs, you can certainly go and get into all these different kinds of things that you can do. So I kind of like the way that this one is positioned. That's kind of the inspiration that I had behind this one, was stacking 3 pumpkins. But I like the way that that floral is positioned there. So I'm going to increase the size of this one in case we decide to use this. So that's a super brief Canva tutorial. I didn't want to go like too into the weeds on things like this, especially because there are already so many pretty options within this bundle. You don't actually have to do anything if you don't want to. but I always want to make sure you guys know what your options are and things like this. Ooh, okay, one more thing, and then we really will stop. Let's click in these lights or upload these lights and see what they look like at the top of one of our images. Because how fun are these little party lights? These are so cute. So you could even add these in and right click, and then we'll see if we can kind of arrange them so they go behind the pumpkins. Oh, I don't know if we can or not. Well, maybe not. So we'll just go ahead and delete those. But yeah, so keep those things in mind, especially if you want to get in here and play around with Canva. This is a great way to get to know Canva. But if you were going to export these designs, what you would do is you want to be sure to name them. So I'd call them like Sublimation, Pumpkin, Throw Pillows. And then you click on the white share button in the upper right hand corner. And then you'll either want to download them as a PNG or a PDF. Either one will work well. Since these were originally PNGs, I'll go ahead and keep them PNGs. Then you do want to check transparent background whenever you're working with PNGs. And you want to leave the file quality really, really high. And we'll go ahead and click the purple download button. So there you have it. Then you can open this up in your preferred printing program, whether that is just the printer app on your computer, or whether you want to print a specific size, you can do that from programs like Photoshop. So now let's jump back into this tutorial and learn how to press these throw pillow covers.
All right, guys, we are back. So hopefully that helped you get a little bit of a basis for how you can work around things in Canva and how you can take image sets that are really, really pretty and just turn them into just a million different types of designs. Because I bought these on Etsy, so they were a little on the pricier side, in my opinion, for a file bundle. But if you know that you can take those files and make them into a bunch of different arrangements, and you can use them in a bunch of different ways, then I personally think it's really worth the cost. Plus, I love supporting small designers who sell their own designs. There's just always something really cool about that. So that was my purpose for, showing you guys that option, because I didn't even end up using it, but I wanted you to know that it was available to you in case you have not done that before. So yeah, lots of great things. Oh, do you need the paid version for the transparent background? That makes sense, Kristen. But then again, you could also, if these are files that have a white background, since your sublimation printer is not going to have any white ink in it, then you could just print with a white background and it won't print. So I would think that that would be okay. Yeah, good. I'm glad you guys like that. I have not tried printing directly from Canva. Earlier this week, I can't remember what I was printing. I don't remember what it was, but I printed it directly from Photoshop so that I could actually size it and print that same size. And that seemed to work really well for me. And I know that a lot of you do not have Photoshop, so I'm going to be experimenting with some other things. But does Canva have an actual print button? Hold on. Let me look and see. So I did click on that, and it says print your design in the Canva options, but I think what that is meaning is it wants you to turn your design into a physical print. Like they want to send you business cards or t-shirts, or they want to do the printing for you. So that's not a regular print function as much as I understand it, because I did try that earlier this week because I was like, ooh, that would be cool. And I'm pretty sure you can't, but I could be wrong. So somebody correct me if you know differently. So now that we're past the design stage, I have everything already printed. And by the way, I did not bother mirroring my prints. I just didn't see the point since there's no text or anything here. I don't really care, which way my pumpkins are facing or which way my boots are facing. So I did not mirror anything. I just went ahead and printed it as is. And then I also cut some butcher paper while I was waiting for that clip to play. And I went ahead and preheated my heat press. So hopefully you guys can see that from the front. But according to 143 Vinyl's website, which is where I got my pillow covers from, they suggested 385 degrees for 45 seconds for these pillow covers. So that's what I went ahead and set my heat press to. And so now we will get started. So the first thing I'm gonna do is grab my pillow covers and lint roll them and add my designs onto them. So another thing I want to keep in mind whenever making pillow covers, I always like to keep my zipper at the bottom. So pay attention to which side has a zipper on it, and I always like to leave that on the bottom. Then I'm going to lint roll the front side, or the side that I'm going to be sublimating on anyway. And by the way, you guys, I did not hook up an overhead camera for us today, just because I didn't really feel like we needed it, since the heat press you guys can see from this angle just as well as you can overhead. So we're going to be working from a single angle. Jeanette said you can print from Canva. You do a download and choose the type of document to print. Right, so you can download your design from Canva, but if you're not printing directly from the program, then it's not really printing from Canva. That would just be printing from your printer's like default photo app or something like that. So yeah, I don't think that those are the same thing. But that's exactly what I did in my clip, is I just downloaded it. Okay. So I'm going to take my piece of paper, and I'm not going to cut anything. I have seen some people either cut these out or tear the edges of the paper so that they don't get lines in their designs. But thus far, that has not happened to me yet. So I could be wrong. I could end up changing my ways at some point. But as of right now, I think everything looks fine, and it's been fine for me to not do anything to the paper. And when I printed these from my computer's just default printing program, I did not specifically size them. I just set the pages to fill the page. So I selected it as like a full page photo, and then I selected, not fill, I selected fit to page so that none of the little pieces were cut off. So as with any time you sublimate, you're gonna put your piece of paper with the print side down onto your substrate. I'm just gonna center it the best I can. It's a pillow. I'm not gonna worry a ton about centering it. And then I wanna tape it down so that it doesn't move. Oh, sure, Dee, absolutely. Yeah, Angie Holden. So if you guys do not know the Country Chic Cottage, Angie Holden, Angie is such an amazing resource for sublimation. She's awesome. She knows so much. So she's another great channel to go and follow. When I went to Heat Transfer Warehouse back in July for their Wallapalooza, I got to meet Angie in person, and she is super sweet and so knowledgeable. So absolutely, Dee, of course I don't mind. I want you guys to have all the best resources, and I want you to know and be comfortable with what you're doing. So whatever that kind of learning looks like, I want you guys to have that. It's not all about the Alex show. It's about learning and getting you guys all of the information you need to make the best decisions for your crafting. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, great. So now that this is all taped down, so I was thinking about something else. I wonder if I should put some butcher paper inside the pillow. I normally don't really worry about that too much, but since both sides are white, in case I want to use the other side of the pillow in the future, I think I am going to go ahead and take a piece of butcher paper and stick it inside the zipper of the pillow cover, just to make sure that it doesn't have any blowout to the other side of the pillow. So I'm just going to put this in here the best I can. It's going to want to curl up on me and be a little rebel. So I'll push it in there a little further. And as you guys can see, I mean, these are big pillows. So I use a really big roll of butcher paper. This is not just like a regular size. I want to say this is maybe at least 18 inches. Yeah, it's a little bit longer than my pillow. So this is probably an 18-inch roll of butcher paper, which for smaller projects can be a little bit obnoxious because I have so much paper, but I like it for these big projects because then all I had to do was cut like a really skinny strip, and that was more than enough paper. Exactly, Kristen. That's what I was thinking. So I'm thinking that I'm going to do fall images on one side and Christmas images on the other. That way I don't have to have a million pillow covers and I can just take full advantage of what I'm doing. So I'm going to have some butcher paper on the inside to make sure that nothing bleeds through. And then I'm going to put some other butcher paper on the other side when we actually press. So because I'm using my Starcraft heat press and it has this little removable pad, what I am thinking about doing is I'm not going to use a pressing pillow because some of my images are too big for the pressing pillows that I have. But what I'm going to do instead is put it on this, this foam pad that comes with my heat press. And I'm just going to make sure that all of the seams are off the sides of the pad. So I know it's a little bit hard for you guys to see from that angle. But what I did is I just scooted it so that the only thing on top of the pressing pad is the actual design. And then when I put it in the press, I'll put another piece of paper on it so that I can protect the top as well. All right. Amber said with her luck, she'd put it inside as well. And you just never know, right? It can't hurt us. It definitely can't hurt us to be extra cautious. So now I'm going to put this on top of my platen and I'm going to put another piece of butcher paper on the top to protect it from any blowout. And then we're going to press at 385 degrees for 45 seconds. So while that's working, I'll go ahead and actually, I'll just cut some more butcher paper while I'm waiting because I'm going to have to put my pillow cover right back on my table and peel off the paper. So I don't want to set another project in the way. But since I'm putting extra paper on both the top and bottom, I'm going to cut another couple of pieces of butcher paper while I wait. Oop, only got 15 more seconds. Gotta hurry. All right, so I'm going to pull this up and out of the way. And we'll pull our pillow off of the pressing pad and see how it turned out. Oh my gosh, you guys, it looks so good. Hold on. Look how bright and vivid that turned out. Oh my goodness. It's almost like a reddish orange, which I actually wasn't expecting. So that might be a little bit of like funkiness from my printer needing to have its orange adjusted. But honestly, the colors are so vivid. Now it's gonna need to be, like I'm gonna have to put it back in the press and get some of these wrinkles out. But these turned out so cute. That's our first one down. Hello, hello, Heat Transfer Warehouse. Welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. Isn't this fun? I love it. Cool. Thanks. I'm excited about our first one. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and fold this piece of paper in half so I don't try and put it on my stuff again. And I'm going to get my next pillow cover ready. And put my press back so it's not hanging over the side of my table. Make sure it's nice and balanced. Yeah, it's like so bright and colorful. I love that. So fun. And my, I would say my fall decor this year is like very neutral plus orange. There's a lot of orange, but there's also a lot of neutral colors. So I thought that the color scheme on these images would be perfect. Then I'm going to locate my zipper on the next one and put it towards the bottom side of my pillow and roll the top to get off anything extra. Yeah. Thanks. I'm guessing it's probably Brooke. So hi, Brooke. Welcome. That's what I thought too, Roseanne. That's a lot brighter than I was expecting too, because the colors on the images on Etsy were very like soft and pastel, but hey, I can be here for some bright colors. We can do that too. All right. So now I'm going to go ahead and center my next design, which is this like pumpkin basket. And like I said, I have a feeling my colors may need adjusting on my printer. So I have a feeling that may be why those came out as bright as they did. So I need to do some work in that department. Oh, good. I'm so glad you liked my stories this weekend, Kristen. I love taking you guys along for the ride with stuff like that. And I only do it when my husband agrees because he was out with me. And sometimes he's like, are you really putting this on social media? I'm like, yes, I really am. Because people, people like to see what we are working on. But he doesn't like to be on social media, but he was okay with me sharing all the things on stories. So I took advantage while I could. Okay, so this piece of paper doesn't have any blowout on it that I can see. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this inside my pillow this time. Slip it all the way in there. There we go. Make sure it's not wrinkled up and messing up my pressure. And then I'm gonna grab my little foam pad and put it underneath. And then adjust my pillow cover so that all the seams are off of the pressing pad, especially that zipper side. But you know what? I wonder, I think this needs to go up a little bit. It's looking a little bit low to me, because this one is not quite as big as the other one. It's a little bit more wide than it is tall. Okay, I think that's gonna look a little bit better. And then I'll stick this on my heat press. Try to line that pad up really nicely. And then this piece of paper looks clean also, so I'm gonna put it on the top. Actually, you know what? Nope. I'm gonna use a fresh piece. Just in case, just in case. I'm okay with it inside in case something happens, but I definitely don't want the top to get any color transfer from an old piece of butcher paper. So now we'll press the next one. Dee said, don't blame your husband. No, he definitely, I definitely don't blame him. He's just not a social media guy, which is so funny because he's married to me. But he's just not about that life, so that's fine. I just have to ask his permission first when I'm good. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking so too. Roseanne said, what social media did you use, Alex? So typically I do a lot of my like real time stuff on my stories, Roseanne. So stories originate on Instagram, but they also show up on Facebook as well on my Facebook page. So not my Alex Vanover like personal Facebook profile. It would be on my DIY Alex business Facebook page is where a lot of my stories are. All right, so we'll pull off this piece of paper. Oh man, yeah, you guys, I think my printer is super off because this basket looks kind of orange. I don't think it's a problem with the file. I think it probably really is my printer. That's a little funky. It's not terrible, but that's like not really what I was picturing. So, you know, welcome to real life. My basket looks totally orange instead of brown like it's supposed to. But I don't know. So if any of you guys had this happen, I was just watching a video on color correction. So I may have to go back and get some stuff figured out. Well, we're already sublimating the rest of it. I might as well keep going. But yeah, not so sure about that. It's not like, it's not terrible, but it's just not really what I had in my head. You know, like Kristen said, I pictured it a lot more like watercolor, like very soft. And this is pretty bright. But you know what? That's okay. We'll set this one aside also and keep on going. Kristen said, I always look at things and think what fun things could Alex show me with this, especially at the Target dollar spot. Listen, every time I go by the Target dollar spot, my husband groans. He's like, are you kidding me? Like, as if we need one more thing from the Target dollar spot. What are you doing? So he really likes when I do that. But I really like the Target dollar spot, so that's okay. I stop anyways. It's fun though. He just goes somewhere else and shops. Like another spot in the store. He just leaves me there. I'm like, yep, that's probably for the best. And I personally think that sometimes it helps me to decorate to see what other people are doing or like what other people are picking up. I'm like, ooh, yeah, I like that. I could do that in my house too, because I need some inspiration sometimes too. So I'm holding this up because I'm kind of looking at the light or looking through the paper to kind of decide where to center my design so that everything looks good and even. Actually, I think I got it, and I don't want to move it because I'm afraid I'm going to mess it up. So I'm going to go ahead and tape it right here. Oh, Renee said she finally got her craft table built. That's awesome. How exciting. Yeah, it is still okay. I'm just reading through your guys' comments. Candace said, my husband is such a good sport about it. He will spend as much time as I want in the craft store. He's a keeper. That's what Candace said. And actually, Andrew does too. He just doesn't want to be in, the videos. So like if I'm like, hey, I'm about to do a story, like stand over there or something, so that he's not in the background. That's just how he prefers it. And I'm perfectly okay with that. I think it, he didn't know that I was going to be on social media when he married me, so it's totally fair. If he does not want to participate, that's okay. And he doesn't participate, but he does help me with stuff. You guys just don't see it. Like, I have a reel that I was working on that I was actually getting ready to sublimate some tumblers. So I'm going to be teaching you guys that here pretty soon. But I could not like close the tumbler press and press the button on my phone to record at the same time. So he was helping me. He was in here helping me take the shots and stuff like that. And so he definitely does help. He just doesn't want to be like in it, which is fine. Yeah, Kristen said, from what I heard, my sister who briefly worked at Target Dollar Spot is hit or miss. It just depends on what Target agrees to send to the store. I agree. And I don't know how this works, but I've noticed that certain Targets sometimes like get really good stuff. And other times like particular Targets just don't get as good of, I don't know, like stuff. I don't know how to explain it. Some of them are like, I go in there and every time I go, I'm like, man, this is good. If it's not already emptied out. And other times I go and I'm like, ugh, like this is definitely not the stuff I was looking to get at the Target Dollar Spot. Okay, I think that's pretty centered. Pretty much. It's not perfect in there maybe, but I think that'll work. Oh, he's great. Absolutely. My husband is awesome. That's true. He does definitely oak my jars of paint and stuff like that. No, Andrew is amazing. He just is not, he's just really, really the opposite of me. Which is exactly what I need in my life. The opposite of me. Okay. So this one is a more horizontal image. So I have the zipper off of a different side of my pressing pad. We'll flip this over. Sometimes when my papers curl a particular way, I like to lay it down the opposite way, if that makes sense, so that the curls are going into the pillow itself. That way it doesn't get all bumped up when I put it down flat before I get a chance to put the platen down. There we go. Got everything all centered. And this one is more of a lighter pumpkin picture. So we'll have to see how this color comes out. We will see. Roseanne said, you have 3 in the area and none get anything to write home about. Oh, that's too bad. That's true, Roseanne. Exactly. That's what I love about, I don't know if you guys are like that, but that's what I love about having married my polar opposite, is that all of the things that I am not very good at, usually Andrew is really good at, and the things that he's not very good at, I'm pretty good at. So that's why they say opposites attract, and it is definitely true and needed, because I think it makes us better overall. Trish said she took her husband into Hobby Lobby and he spent more money than she did. That's funny. My husband, we're funny. He will kind of tag team. So he'll walk around with me at first, and then he's like, yeah, this is kind of boring. So then he walks around and kind of does his own thing, and then he circles back and he's like, okay, how much further? How much longer do you need? Where are you at? What's going on? And then he walks away again, and then he comes back again. Oh, there you go, Tammy. Your husband patiently waits in the car. Absolutely. Plus, another thing that my husband always likes to remind me of is every single piece of furniture you see in this craft room, my husband has either assembled or built himself. So he says, I do support you. I just don't want to be on Instagram stories. Like, hey, works for me. So here's pillow number 3. And that one's looking a little bit more like I expected. Still a super mega vivid orange, but looks a little bit better. It's looking pretty good. I like this one. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Roseanne said, I have my opposite in many ways, and you've been together 51 years. That's amazing, Roseanne. Congratulations. Yeah, my parents have been married 30 years earlier this year, and my in-laws have been married 40 years. We just celebrated their 40th anniversary back in July. So, pretty cool. Katie said, my husband waits in the car and repeatedly texts me and asks me if I got lost or died. That's funny. I don't think, Andrew would not notice I was lost for quite some time, if that was the case. Because he knows that I take a while, so he's not shocked. He also knows that whenever I go to a social gathering, I am generally the very last person out of the room. So he knows not to expect me home for quite some time. And if I say that it's going to be 3 hours, expect it to be 4. If I say it's going to be 4 hours, expect it to be at least 5. That's just how it is. It's how I've always been. Dee said she'd never take her husband with her to a craft store. Well, yeah, it just kind of happens, you know? It's not so much like when I just go to the craft store, I don't usually take him with me. But if I am out somewhere, it's usually more like, oh, shoot, I need to go to Michael's and get blah, blah, blah. Or I need to go to Hobby Lobby and get blah, blah, blah. And so we're already out together, and that's how we end up there. All right, y'all. Last pillow. So this one is like tall boots with florals on it, which I thought was really cool. Kind of different. It's not, doesn't have any pumpkins in it, but I thought it would be a cool complete set. Because I just sometimes it's okay to get pillows with sayings on them, but I wasn't really looking for text. I really wanted images on my pillows rather than text. So I thought that these were a great compromise, and I knew I was going to run out of tape. My roll of Cricut tape is gone. So this is some PYD Life tape that they sent me, and I haven't used it yet. So we'll find out. Hey, Kathy, welcome. Glad you're here. Oh, darn. I can't get this tape started. Hold on. I thought that was supposed to make it easier to open. Oh, you guys. Yeah, that's what I think. So too. Roseanne said, I hope those boots come out less bright. It looks nice as a pastel, but may look great brighter. Yeah, I don't know. I hope they do too. I'm hopeful. But I think also if the boots come out really bright, will know for sure that it's something funky with my printer, because they definitely don't look that way on the images. I know, Kristen. We're not. It's not off to a good start. And I'll have to get my husband to help me with this tape dispenser, because I love that it pre-cuts the tape for you. That makes it super cool. But oh my goodness, this tape is like all balled up. Nope, we're starting over. But it is extremely hard to figure out. This thing is super cool because as you turn the wheel, it automatically cuts the pieces of tape so that they're all even and all the exact same, which is very cool. But that being said, to get the tape on the roll, it is like literal rocket science. Oh my goodness. Apparently, it's rocket science to get it off the roll also. You guys, I'm struggling. Okay. I can't even tell which side. I can see there's a break in the tape, but I can't see which direction it's turning in. Well, I have a roll of the Cricut Strong Grip tape that came with a hat press, but I haven't opened that yet either. Oh no, you guys. This is a very Monday-ish Tuesday. You have this one too? Yeah, it is like a super pain to get tape on it. And I was so confused when I got it in. I literally was like, Drew, please help me. I was like, I have no idea. I have no idea how this thing works. And you guys, I'm literally shredding this roll of tape. We're going to spend more time with me trying to get this tape off the roll than we are sublimating these. So that's cool. Welcome to real life. I'm cutting a new line. We'll see if this works. But I literally had to go to him and be like, hey man, can you put this tape on here because I do not understand. And even he was like, oh my gosh, this is really complicated. And he is super mechanically inclined. Super mechanical. Renee said, have I started crafting for Christmas yet? You know, Renee, Kathy, I have not. The only thing that I've done so far is create that class that is playing this week with the Cricut Craft Fest. And I did some crafting back in July for Christmas. I think this might be 2 rolls of tape, y'all, or 2 layers of tape, because I think I cut too deep with my scissors, but it's okay. We're going with it. Roseanne said, I wanted super strong tape. Oh yeah, to be next to the regular tape because they're different colors, so that would be cool. But it doesn't fit. Darn it. That's annoying. Marilyn's husband naps in the car when she goes to the craft store. Hey, you know what? Honestly, I feel like it's fine that way because then we get to browse and do our own thing. And then, like you said, they get to nap or do whatever the heck they would like to do. My husband usually will find another place to go look. I don't blame you, Amber. These tape dispensers are difficult. They are complicated. Okay, see if that's centered. What do you guys think? I think it's pretty close. Well, no. The boots are too low. I've done that twice now. Okay, try again. I'm going to put the boots up a little bit. Okay. Kathy's already working on ornaments. You go, girl. Okay, I think that looks better. Except I see a little something, a little fuzzy. There we go. All right, let's sublimate our last pillow. So I'm going to leave this one... I'm going to leave the pillow cover kind of on sideways because of the shape of this design. I think it'll make more sense that way. Renee said she got the tape dispenser to work by accident. Hey, honestly, whatever it takes. I'm here for that. Okay, so go ahead and put some Put your paper inside. I can't wait for you to be able to sublimate either, Kathy. It's really, really fun. It definitely has a lot of trial and error. So this happened a long time ago, you guys. So I'm telling you about it, but it's very old. Did you guys participate in Sublimation Camp back in May? Corey George and Angie Holden put it on together, and they did like one of those summit events like the Cricut Craft Fest, but they did it all about sublimation. And honestly, you guys, it was super cool. That was one of those things where I just went ahead and bought the all access pass because I knew I was not going to be able to watch everything that week, but I am still watching the videos. Like, they are still so helpful, and they actually still sell passes for it. So if you guys feel like you need a basis for the sublimation, like all the sublimation stuff, they do have that available still as a pass if you'd like. But I understand if you don't, because it's a good bit more expensive now that the event's over. But I bought it during the event, and honestly, it was a steal. Like, I was so excited, and I'm still watching the videos because I think they're super valuable. All right, guys, our last pillow. Let's see how she turns out. Yay! Oh, good, Kathy. It's going to be soon. That's exciting. Yeah, it was really good back in May. It's awesome. Fun. Kristen was trying to do a whole glitter ornament thing, but haven't gotten everything you need yet. Yes, it's a good one. I've got a couple of tutorials out there for you when you guys are ready to do that. It's really, really fun. I love glitter ornaments. Well, I personally like glitter. I know people hate glitter. I like glitter. I don't mind the mess. Doesn't really bother me. I'm just used to glitter being everywhere. In fact, Andrew found glitter in the kitchen the other day, somehow. And he was like, why does this have glitter on it? And I was like, is that even really a question? It's because I live in this house, dear. That's why there's glitter on it. Because there's glitter everywhere here. That's just how it happens. Okay. You guys, the boots look brown. This is a printer issue that I will have to work on. Dee said, okay, where do you get the passes? You know what, Dee? I will look up the link for you here in just a moment because I'm pretty sure they're still for sale. We'll double check and make sure, but I'm pretty sure. Okay, also, guys, look. I don't love it. It's orange. I don't know how well you can tell that on camera, but it's orange instead of brown, which actually does go with the theme, you know, but I'm not loving it. It's not my favorite. So I'm going to have to figure that out. Oi, I've got some sublimation things to figure out. But since we're at the end of this video and that's all of the sublimating I was going to do, let me show you each of the pillows one more time in case you guys weren't here for the whole thing. So this was our last one, the tall boots and florals. Then we did this one, which actually, I think this may have turned out to be my favorite one. I didn't think it would be, but I like this design the best. And like with the way it turned out. And then we have the basket with the sublimation pumpkins. And a stack of pumpkins. So, admittedly, that's not what I had in mind. Because I thought these were going to be like pastel and light. But it is what it is. And that's just real life for you guys, that I don't have all the answers either. But I'm doing my best to learn a lot about sublimation, which is why I have been watching the Sublimation Camp videos. I've been doing all kinds of education recently. I have bought a lot of courses this year. I've done a lot more, at least compared to what I used to do, because I really believe that it's worth investing in your education. Now, obviously, for me, this is my job. So it's important for me to acknowledge that, because as a hobbyist, I probably wouldn't invest as much as I have into like some of these courses and things like that. But I have found them to be really, really helpful. I guess I'm just a big believer in supporting the people in our community, like Angie Holton and Corey George, and Abby Kirsten is the one who's putting on Cricut Craft Fest that I participated in this year. So lots of great people who are putting these on, but also I feel like it's worth it to shorten the learning curve from people who have already figured this stuff out. You know what I mean? Whoops, hold on. Let me type in Sublimation Camp and see if I can, yeah, here we go. Get the pass for you. Hey, Let's Make Stuff is is Corey's website. And so the all access pass now for Sublimation Camp is $99. So it's definitely a lot more pricey than what I bought it for. But there is a ton of information in this, you guys. It's basically a course on sublimation. So there's the link if you want it, Dee or anyone else. Dee said, are the images from the same designer? Yes, Dee, they are. They're from a single download that I bought on Etsy. Yeah, I may do that. We'll have to see. Yes, and my pillow covers are from 143 Vinyl. They're linked down in the description, as well as the image set is linked in the description and everything else that I use too. And yeah, I mean, it definitely did match the other one. So at least if they were going to turn any color, at least they turned orange. So, yeah. You know, it's okay. Not the greatest thing I've ever done, but also not the worst. Yes, exactly. Well, and I have to look at, Kathy said you have a course from MGL. Who's MGL? Kathy, I don't know who that is. But yeah, and I also have, I have Brittany Mata's course, Bees Teas sublimation course, which is good as well. So there's tons of great resources out there for this kind of stuff if that's something you're into. But I get it. As a hobbyist, I don't know that I would spend as much money as I have. In fact, I can tell you that as a hobbyist, I would not have spent as much money as I have on these kinds of things. I'm just going to stick these back in my heat press and press out the sides just so that they don't look so wrinkly. But I don't know actually how well that's going to work out because I have a zipper in the way on this side. We'll give it a try. But yeah, I get it. I would not probably spend as much as I have on that kind of stuff. But if it's something that you want to learn or something that you want to start a business with, then I definitely do think it's worth investing in. For sure. Oh yeah, that looks a lot better. Oh, Maker's Gonna Learn. Yes, 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 of course. Yeah, Tanner has lots of great resources out on the internet for crafters as well. I mean, there's literally a million options when it comes to all the different ways that you can learn about sublimation and pretty much any kind of crafting topic, really. So lots of cool resources out there. I hope in the future to have some courses for you guys on some different things. I don't know that it will be necessarily on sublimation, but I hope to have some things out there for you guys in the coming months. So yeah, we'll see. The top actually looks pretty good. So now we'll do this side. Sometimes when you pull them out of the press, they just look so funky, you know? So I want to make sure that I fix them up before I decide to put pillow covers in them. And you know, now that I think about it, every time I've printed from that printer, things have ended up looking a little funky. I sublimated a shirt for my mother-in-law and it looked kind of funky. It was supposed to be brown, I think. Brown or like a brownish black, and it ended up a little on the orange side. So I feel like I probably have a consistent issue with that. So I was just watching a video on that the other night, so I'll have to do some more research on how to fix that up. And after all these clogs, I may end up getting a Sawgrass printer. After all these issues, I was like, okay, like it definitely is an investment, but I see now why people invest in Sawgrass printers because this is a ton of maintenance. Now, Sawgrass, you know, stuff, of course, can happen to that stuff too, but because Sawgrass printers are made for sublimation, they're just a lot less likely to have clogging issues like I'm currently experiencing. That's the thing about converting Epson printers into sublimation printers when they're not meant to be, is that you run into these potential issues, which for some people, the trade-off is worth it for less cost. You know, it's worth it to be able to enjoy sublimation without having to invest quite as much money. But I have been looking into sawgrass printers just to see if it's kind of worth, you know, worth the investment. So yeah. Oh, thanks, Kathy. This shirt, this is I think it's just a flannel from Target. A lot of my clothes come from Target. A lot of them. I am a big Target girl, whether it's Dollar Spot or other stuff. I'm a big fan. Dee said, when I fill the ink, I'm so afraid I'm going to put the wrong color in the wrong chamber. I know. I checked it like 100 times. Ooh, let's see what Amber said. I don't want to let that go too long. She said, I have a hat press, but the heat doesn't stay up. Is it worth getting a Cricut hat press? Well, Amber, so it kind of depends on what you mean by the ink or the temperature doesn't stay up. So what can happen when you're working with a heat press of any kind, whether it's a regular heat press, hat press, anything, is when you end up pressing a surface that's a bit colder, then the temperature can drop, and it's actually normal for it to drop some. It's just the law of thermodynamics at play, because when you take, you know, a hot surface and you put a colder surface beside it, the heat is going to flow to the colder surface. So some temperature drop is normal. So, you know, I don't know. It depends on how much fluctuation you are talking about. Yeah, I'll have to look at the sublimation course from Maker's Gonna Learn too. I hadn't even looked into that. Now, granted, I have a couple already that I'm working through, so I want to make sure I take advantage of those. But yeah, it's definitely great to know that we have so many options in the craft world and that so many people have chosen to share their knowledge with us. I think that's a super great thing. Yes, Kathy, it is the same process with the Easy Press as well as anything else. You do need to make sure though with the Easy Press that you have the Easy Press 2. The original Easy Press does not get hot enough to do sublimation. It just can't support temperatures that are high enough for sublimation. So keep that in mind. It has to be an Easy Press 2. Or I'm sure an Easy Press 3 would as well. So yeah, we're learning all the things and we're learning together. What's kind of funny is most of the time when I create something for you guys, I have been doing it for quite a while because I was just doing the math in my Cricut class. I am approaching 7 years with a Cricut machine, which is absolutely wild to me. But regardless, most of the things that I teach you guys are things that I have been doing for quite some time before I jump in and teach you how to do it. But sublimation has been different because the rise of sublimation has gotten so popular. I did not start sublimating until, when did I start sublimating? Sometime in 2020. And so I did wait a little while because I started posting my sublimation series in January of 2021. But it's crazy how, like, the other things that I had been doing them for a long time before I started teaching all of you. Whereas, you know, sublimation, I've been doing it right along with you guys. And admittedly, I don't practice as much as I would like to. I need to get better about experimenting and things like that. But that's another reason for my slower growth is I haven't had a bunch of time to just kind of play around with it and learn and experiment. So that could be a piece of it too. Let's see. I know, Kathy, it's easy to do. It's really, really easy to do. Amber said, heat goes from 400 to 360 all the time. Yeah, that is a bit of a big fluctuation, but I don't know, Amber. That might be something to look into because that is a significant, that's 40 degrees. That's a lot of fluctuation. That's kind of funky. But I do like the Cricut hat press, but I will say with the Cricut hat press, it is definitely, especially when it comes to sublimation, It's a little trickier than I thought for the same reasons that it's tricky with the Easy Press, and that's that you have to apply your own manual pressure. So, you know, it's just a little more tricky to do than when you're working with something manual like a regular heat press or a even a hat press that has like a base, you know? Isn't that crazy? G said she's had a Cricut since 2008. I know, isn't that crazy? Renee said that she has so many courses she needs to go through and finish. So one thing that I did that helped me with all the courses, oh yeah, I could totally see that. Yeah, Roseanne, there's an Easy Press 3 now. Oh, good. I'm so glad you get so much from watching us, G. I'm happy to add that value for you. So what helped me get organized, Renee, was I started a Google Sheet, and I have a Google Sheet of all of the links to all the courses I purchased, and I put all my login information on the Google Sheet as well, and that has really helped me stay organized with all the courses that I have purchased, because it is really easy to buy a course and then just get busy and not have time to implement it. So you want to make sure that you have, you know, you want to make sure that you are taking advantage of the investments that you are making. Oh, that's true. These are metal. These zippers are metal, so I think they're okay. But that is a good point, Dee, that you want to be careful about putting plastic zippers into a heat press. But I think these are metal. Or if not, I'm only putting them in there for like 10 seconds. Roseanne said she used the Cricut hat press for sublimation, and it was a new learning curve. Yeah, I agree, Roseanne. It was for me too. It was for me too. Your Cricut is not cutting through vinyl. So I'm going to have some more information to help you with that. What kind of vinyl are you trying to cut? And what cut setting are you using with it? And also what brand. If you can tell me what brand, that would help as well. Oh, good. I'm glad you have all the links in one place and all the downloads and things. Yeah. So I'm going to probably go ahead and end our live because I think I've done all the things that I can probably do with this project. But if you need some more help with your vinyl, Sezi Mocha Crafts, is that how you say your name? Then feel free to message me on social media. You can find me on Facebook or on Instagram at DIY Alex Vanover. I also have links down in the description of the video if you need direct links to my social media. I'd be happy to help you troubleshoot that if I can. I'm certainly happy to give some input. But otherwise, you guys, thank you so much for joining me and for hanging out. Don't forget to subscribe to DIY Alex if you haven't already, so you can see more videos like this one every single Tuesday. And I love you guys so very much. All of